Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, you picked a really interesting video to click on because today we're going to talk about something that a lot of people feel, but very few people can clearly explain, and that is this. The price of physical silver doesn't make sense. Not just it should be higher, I mean, fundamentally, structurally, something about it feels off. And if you've been stacking for any amount of time, you probably had this thought at least once. How is this stuff, this real, tangible, limited, necessary metal priced where it is right now? Because when you hold silver in your hand, it doesn't feel like the price you paid for it. It feels like more. And I don't mean emotionally, I mean intuitively. And the deeper you go into this market, the harder it becomes to ignore one uncomfortable idea. What if physical silver is actually worth more than the price we're being shown? Now, before anyone jumps in and says that's just speculation or that's just bias, let's slow this down and walk through it together logically, because this isn't about hype. This is about structure. And this is a difference between owning something and trading exposure to something. And in the silver market, that difference matters more than people realize. Most of the price discovery for silver happens through markets like COMEX. And what's being traded there isn't coins, bars, or physical metal moving from one person to another. It's just paper contracts, agreements to buy or sell silver at a certain price. And here's the part that should make you pause. The majority of those contracts never result in actual silver changing hands. They are open, traded, and closed over and over again. What does that mean? It means the price you see, the number you base your decision on, is largely influenced by a market where most participants are not trying to acquire silver. They are not trying to profit from its movement. That's a completely different intention, and intention matters because a market driven by ownership behaves very differently than a market driven by trading. These people are not stackers. Ownership removes supply. Trading just circulates exposure. So now ask yourself, if most of the volume is coming from people who don't want the metal, then what exactly is being priced? Is it silver or is it sentiment about silver? Because those are not the same thing. And this is where the disconnect starts to form. Physical silver is not just a financial asset, it's an industrial metal. It's used in electronics, solar panels, medical applications, defense systems. It gets consumed. It's gone, not stored. They don't even recycle it fast enough to keep up with demand in many cases. At the same time, the supply isn't exploding. It's relatively constrained. Mining is very expensive. New discoveries aren't exactly flooding the market. So you have a real world situation where silver is being used more. Supply isn't dramatically increasing, but yet the price behaves like there's no urgency, like there's no pressure, like there's no scarcity. That's where people start asking questions. Because in most markets, when something is consumed, limited, and necessary, price reflects that. But in silver, the reflection feels muted. Now, does that mean there's some massive conspiracy? No. You don't need a conspiracy to explain this. You just need to understand structure. When a market is dominated by leveraged contracts, you can have a situation where volume of claims vastly exceeds the available physical supply. And when that happens, price becomes less about physical reality and more about positioning, the liquidity, and short-term sentiment. That doesn't mean the price is fake. It means the price is influenced by something that isn't purely physical. And that's a big difference. And this is the part that I think people are starting to wake up to. Trading a piece of paper is not the same as owning the thing. It never has been. And yet we allow a market built on those paper claims to tell us what the real thing is worth. That's like letting bets determine value instead of ownership. And for a long time, that works because most people don't question it. Most people trust the system. Most people never take delivery. But what happens if that changes? What happens if more people start saying, I don't want exposure, I want metal? Because that's the what if that nobody really talks about seriously. What if the market shifts from trading to ownership? What if instead of rolling contracts, people start standing for delivery? What if instead of trusting the price, people start testing it? Because the moment demand for physical silver starts to outpace the system's ability to deliver it, you get friction. And friction reveals truth. Premiums rise, availability tightens, delays happen, and suddenly the price you see on the screen and the price you pay in the real world starts to separate. And we've seen glimpses of this before. Moments where premiums spike, moments where inventory disappears, moments where the paper price feels completely disconnected from reality. Now imagine that, but sustained. Imagine a scenario where industrial demand keeps climbing, investment demand shift towards physical, and fewer people are willing to settle for cash instead of metal. That's when the system gets tested because it was never designed for everyone to take delivery. It was designed for efficiency, for liquidity, for trading, not for mass physical redemption. So what happens if that assumption breaks? You don't get a slow adjustment. You get a repricing, and that repricing wouldn't be suitable because markets don't correct gently when structural assumptions fail. They snap. Now, am I saying that's guaranteed to happen? No. And anyone who tells you that it is guessing. But it is a possibility. And more importantly, is it something worth thinking about if you're holding physical silver? I would say yes, because this is where your edge comes in as a stacker. You're not holding a contract. You're not holding exposure. You're holding the actual thing. You've already stepped outside of the paper system. And that matters more than people realize. Because if the price is ever forced to reflect physical reality, you're already positioned. You don't have to react. You don't have to chase. You're already there. And until that moment, if it ever comes, you're sitting in a very interesting position, holding something real in a market that often prices it like it's abstract. So when people say silver is boring or not moving or dead, I don't see it that way. I see a market that hasn't fully reconciled what it is. And sometimes that's where the opportunity is, not in what everyone agrees on, but in what doesn't quite add up yet. So no, this isn't about hype. It's not about saying silver is going to the moon tomorrow. It's about recognizing that there is a difference between price and value. And right now, those two things might not be the same for physical silver. And if that gap ever closes, it won't be quiet. Anyway, if you made it this far, you're my kind of person. If you think differently about money, about value, about what it means to actually own something, you're in the right place. And hit like if this made you think. Subscribe if you want more content like this. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. So the Fed did not pivot today. And welcome to the bonus video. So we're going to have a little more downward pressure on the metals today, and maybe for a while longer. But I figured I would put out a fish to sink and gold to swim. And then, of course, I have my fancy dancy Morgans here. I'm going to put those around. And I got a different tripod, if you can tell. And it's working out much better. The other one I had was fancier and is a lot better quality than the one that I'm using right now, but the issue was that it would not angle directly, and it was one of those magnetic ones, so it only snapped to the back of the phone. So when you try to angle it, it doesn't go that direction. It only goes, the other direction that I don't want it to. So anyway, yeah, so we're gonna have lower metals for, I'm gonna assume, probably until the new Fed chair comes in. I forgot what his name is, like Kevin Warsh or something. So we're gonna probably see some better price movement in the positive in May or June. I'm not sure when he comes in, and even if he comes in May, I don't think they have a Fed chair meeting until June. So we'll just have to wait and see, because this is but anyway, if you guys are looking to maybe make your first buy, or maybe your second or third buy in metals, I would probably do it now. No financial advice here, but I personally would do it now if I didn't have any metals. So let's just put this guy here because I don't want to rearrange it. But yeah, I'm guessing May, June. Maybe the war will be over then, who knows. But you know what? If you got metals when you were, let's see, probably even if you got metals in 2020, you're doing really good. If you got metals in 21, you're still doing great. I mean, if you didn't buy for the first time in January of this year, then you're doing good, because all the way up until January, we were still seeing somewhere around, I think it went from 48 and then shot up to like 121, just like in a few days. So, so if you are looking to buy, I would do it soon. But this is for my daughter. I got this for her when she was born, 2021. I believe it's a bull. It's a 2-ounce bull, year of the zodiac or something like that. I should know that, but it's been a while since I purchased it. And these are all 86s. You're probably not going to see a video without these because these are like my favorite coins. But, well, I didn't catch Coin Shop Curse's video today because I've been super busy, and I will later. So you'll probably hear my commentary about that on tomorrow's video. And right now, I am just going to be taking a break from buying until it gets to the $60 level. I don't know how far it needs to go. Maybe 67 I'll be looking. But you know, I don't know. I just don't know what to do at this point. But I'm going to be saving cash because I need to rebuild my reserves. So if there is a opportunity that presents itself, then I will be ready to do that. But right now, if I buy something else, I feel like I'm going to get into my emergency fund, and that is an absolute no-no. Like, you have to have your emergency fund because it's for emergencies, and you don't know when emergencies are going to come up. Oh, I almost forgot about these. My beautiful seashells. And then we'll put this one here. And I found something. It's not on the table right now. What the heck? I wonder if my daughter picked it up. Oh, I found it. This is my big hunk of citrine that I found at a rock show. Yes, they do exist. And they do sell rocks. They are not rock concerts only. But I have this, and I have a big chunk, like a humongous chunk of amethyst. But anyway, we are not a geology show here. We are a metal show, so on with it. You will hear today's video in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.